Everything you've been told about achieving success is probably wrong. You've heard work harder, hustle till you drop, outwork everyone. But what if that's the exact reason you're still stuck? What if the key to wealth has almost nothing to do with how many hours you work? Jim Rohn argued that your income rarely exceeds your personal development. That means you're earning exactly what your current self is worth. If you want more, you don't need to work more, you need to become more. I'm going to show you the 7 specific strategies to level up yourself so your income has no choice but to follow. Think about yesterday. You were busy, right? Responded to emails, ran errands, sat in meetings. But at the end of the day, did you feel like you had actually moved forward? Or did you just spin the hamster wheel a little faster? That feeling is the exact difference between having a simple to-do list and having a real, tangible goal. Your to-do list just keeps you busy. A goal actually pulls you into the future. Jim Rohn described goals as powerful magnets. He said they don't just sit there on a piece of paper. They actively generate an invisible force that starts pulling resources, opportunities, and even the right people towards a future that you have explicitly designed. Most people don't have this magnet working for them. They're just drifting, pushed around by the currents of their job, their boss's priorities, and whatever social media post grabs their attention. They are a boat without a rudder, just hoping to land somewhere decent. The main reason most goals fail is because they aren't goals at all. They're just vague wishes. Things like, I want to be healthier, or I want to make more money. That's as useless as telling a GPS just go somewhere north. It has no idea what route to calculate, what turns to make, or what the final destination looks like. It's a recipe for going nowhere slowly. Without a specific target, you can't measure progress, and without progress, you lose motivation. So the first step in this level up process, the absolute foundation, is to get brutally clear. This isn't a friendly suggestion, it's the first rule of the game. You must take out a physical piece of paper and write down your goals. Not just the big, dreamy, long-term ones, but the short-term objectives that will get you there. Think of it like a video game. You're pinning the main quest objective to the corner of your screen. It's always there, a constant reminder of what you're fighting for and why you're choosing to battle this specific monster instead of wandering off into the woods. This simple physical act of writing it down begins to change your daily behavior almost instantly because it makes the future real. But just having that quest objective pinned isn't enough. You need fuel. You need a powerful why that keeps you emotionally locked in when things get hard. Rohn identified 4 core motivators that provide this emotional horsepower. The first is recognition. This isn't about celebrity. It's about the profound feeling of being seen and respected by your peers for your competence. The second is the feeling of winning. This is that deeply personal, internal victory rush you get from completing a difficult task or overcoming a roadblock you thought was impossible. Third is family. This is the drive to provide for the people you love, to give them security, opportunity, and a better life. And finally, there's benevolence. This is the desire to give back, to contribute to a cause bigger than yourself and make a positive impact on your community or the world. The real difference between someone who finally breaks free from their circumstances and someone who stays trapped in the same loop for years is this. One person has a clear, written destination fueled by at least one of these deep personal reasons. The other person is just waking up and reacting to whatever the day throws at them. Your goals, when they're defined and fueled this way, become a powerful filter for every decision you make. When an opportunity comes up, you can ask a simple question. Does this action get me closer to my main quest objective, or is this just a distracting side quest that's going to waste my time and resources? So we've set the destination. Your personal GPS now has a specific set of coordinates plugged in. Now, we need to upgrade your character so you're actually strong enough to handle the journey and fight the bosses you'll meet along the way. You've got your quest, but you're still a level 1 character trying to fight a level 50 dragon. It's not going to work. This brings us to Jim Rohn's most famous and most misunderstood rule. He said, income rarely exceeds personal development. Let that sink in for a moment. You are currently earning exactly what the universe, the market, and your boss think you are worth based on your current skills, your dominant mindset, and your unfiltered daily habits. If you want a bigger paycheck, the answer isn't to ask for it. The answer is to become the kind of person who naturally commands it. Your financial reality is a direct reflection of your internal reality. The tension here is that almost everyone gets this backward. They want a shortcut. They are desperate for a new tactic, an undiscovered marketing gimmick, a hot stock tip, or a better job. In video game terms, they are looking for better loot, hoping a legendary sword will magically make them a great fighter. Rohn said this approach is a dead end. You don't need better loot. You need to become a better player first. Your focus should be on internal transformation, not external factors. The fastest way to level up is to accept one simple truth. Success leaves clues. You don't have to wander through the dark forest of life trying to figure everything out from scratch. Find people who have already beaten the level you're currently stuck on and study their entire strategy. This is not about blindly copying someone. You're not trying to steal their character build or wear the exact same armor they did. That won't work because you're not them. Instead, you are modeling their principles. You are learning the fundamental game mechanics they used to succeed. What were their core beliefs about their work? How did they structure their day? What skills did they master that others ignored? By learning these underlying principles, you can build your own path forward, avoiding the mistakes they already made for you. This allows you to accelerate your own progress significantly. But to turn what you learn into actual progress, into real-world results, you need a system. This is where most people fail. They read a book or watch a video, feel inspired for a day, and then do nothing with the information. Rohn's method for avoiding this was incredibly simple. Whenever you read a book or hear a powerful idea, do not just consume it. You have to capture it. Get a journal, and when an idea strikes you, write it down. But don't stop there. Spend a few minutes reflecting on it and ask yourself, how can I use this? How can I apply this idea to my life, my job, or my goals starting this week? This simple habit transforms passive reading into active XP gain. You stop being a consumer of information and start being a builder of wisdom. This is precisely why he said that leaders are readers. Through this process of capturing and applying ideas, you are literally building a new version of yourself, one insight at a time. The process is all about small, repeatable disciplines that compound. Reading one book will not change your life. It's unrealistic to expect that. But the habit of reading one book a month for an entire year will make you a different person. You will think differently, speak differently, and see opportunities you were blind to before. He advised, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Your value, and therefore your income, is a direct result of the value you can provide to the marketplace. To provide more value, you must first become more valuable. It's an unbreakable law of economics and personal growth. Now that you're leveling up and actively building a more valuable character, let's talk about managing your most important resource in the game, your time. You've got your quest, but right now you're a level 1 character trying to fight a level 50 dragon. It's not going to work. This brings us to what is probably Rohn's most famous and most misunderstood rule. He said, income rarely exceeds personal development. Now let that sink in for a second. It means that you are currently earning exactly what the marketplace thinks you are worth based on your current skills, your mindset, and your daily habits. If that number feels too low, the problem isn't your job, it's your character build. The tension here is that almost everyone wants a shortcut. They're looking for a new tactic, a secret hack, a different job, or a hot stock tip. In game terms, they're searching for better loot, hoping a legendary sword will magically make them a great fighter. Rohn says that's completely backward. You need to become a better player first. You need to raise your stats, unlock new abilities on your skill tree, and then, and only then, will you be able to wield better gear and defeat tougher enemies. To earn more, you must first become more valuable. So how do you level up fast? The quickest way is to understand that success leaves clues. You don't have to wander around the wilderness figuring everything out from scratch. Find people who have already beaten the level you're currently stuck on and study their gameplay. Watch how they move, how they manage their resources, what disciplines they follow. This is not about blindly copying someone. You're not trying to steal their character build because what worked for them might not work perfectly for you. Instead, you're learning the fundamental game mechanics they used to succeed. You're reverse engineering their principles. But to turn what you learn into actual progress, you need a system. Rohn's method for this was simple. When you read a book, listen to a podcast, or hear a good idea, don't just passively consume it. Capture it. Get a dedicated journal. And when an idea hits you, write it down. But don't just copy it. Ask yourself, how can I use this? How does this apply to my specific goals? This simple process turns passive reading into active experience points. You're no longer just collecting information, you're integrating it into your character. This is precisely why he said leaders are readers. You are literally building a new, more capable version of yourself with every idea you absorb and apply. The process is all about small, repeatable disciplines that compound over time. Reading one book won't change your life. But the person who reads one book a month for a year is a fundamentally different, more valuable person. Your income is a direct result of the value you can provide. To provide more, you must become more. Now that you're leveling up, Let's talk about managing your single most important resource in the game, your time. We all get the same 24 hours. So why do some people seem to bend time to their will while most of us feel like we're constantly running out of it? Rohn said it all comes down to your attitude. He saw most people as drifters, letting the day's currents push them from one notification to the next. Then there are the 9-to-5ers who just trade time for money without a real strategy. The goal is to become an enlightened time manager. And this isn't a workaholic who brute forces an 80-hour week. This is someone who works smarter with intense focus on the right things. The core skill of the enlightened time manager is the power to say no. Every time you say yes to a low priority task or a distraction that doesn't serve your goal, you are implicitly saying no to your main quest. You have to treat your time like a finite resource, like mana or action points. You only have a certain amount for the day. Once you spend them on a bunch of weak, low-impact spells, they're gone. You can't get them back for the powerful spell that would actually move you forward. So how do you protect it? You have to think on paper. This is the practical tool set for time mastery. Rohn's system used a journal for ideas, a project book for mapping out major goals, a calendar for appointments, and a game plan for daily and weekly actions. The secret isn't a complex app. It's the discipline of planning your day on paper before it begins. This single act separates you from 90% of people who just wake up and react. This gives you leverage. You're no longer just working harder, you're multiplying your output by applying your energy to the right things at the right time. Once you control your time, you can direct it toward building real wealth. And that requires its own set of rules. What if being broke or financially stressed has almost nothing to do with how big your salary is? What if the real reason is simply that you don't have a system for your money? According to Rohn, your bank account is nothing more than a mirror of your internal discipline. If your finances are a mess, it's a direct reflection of messy habits. He believed that discipline is the master key that unlocks the door to wealth. Without that master key, you're just rattling the handle, hoping the door swings open on its own. Most people get stuck right here because they fall into a trap. They think, I'll start saving and investing when I make more money. So that's a fatal mistake. It's like saying, I'll start organizing my inventory once I find a legendary sword. The skill of inventory management has to be learned with the junk items you have now, so that when you finally get that legendary item, you don't accidentally lose or sell it. You have to learn the skill of money management with the little you have, so you're ready when you have a lot. The system Rohn proposed is shockingly simple. It's called the 70-30 rule. You apply this to your after-tax income, no matter how small or large it is. The first part is the 70%. This is for everything you need to live. Your rent or mortgage, your bills, your groceries, and any other lifestyle spending. You live on this portion. It handles your present needs and keeps your life running. But the other 30% is where the magic happens and your future is built. That 30% gets split into 3 equal separate piles. The first 10% is for charity. This is for giving back to your church, a cause you believe in, or just helping someone in need. Rohn saw this as a vital part of a healthy financial life, an act of sharing your wealth and fostering a sense of social responsibility. The second 10% is for what he called active capital. This is your wealth creation fund. You use this money to engage in commerce, buying something to fix and sell, investing in a side business, or manufacturing a product. This is money you actively put to work to generate more money. It's your entrepreneurial account, even if you start part-time. The final 10% is for passive capital, which is basically savings and long-term investments. This is the money that provides peace of mind and financial security. It's your safety net and your ticket to long-term freedom as you let the power of compounding work for you. This money works for you while you sleep. This simple, repeatable rhythm forces you to become a wealth builder on day one. It doesn't matter if your 10% is $10 or $10,000. By splitting your money this way, you are building the muscle of disciplined allocation. That muscle, not the dollar amount, is the true source of wealth. To make this even more real, he also advised that you keep a personal financial statement. This isn't complicated. It's just a list of your assets, everything you own that has value, and your liabilities, everything you owe. You have to know the score to know if you're winning the game. This gives you a clear, honest snapshot of your financial health. This entire system isn't about restriction, it's about direction. You are finally telling every single dollar where to go instead of getting to the end of the month and wondering where it all went. This financial discipline gives you incredible power. But that power and all your growth can be accelerated or completely destroyed by one final critical factor: the people you play the game with. This might be the most uncomfortable strategy of all, so just prepare yourself. Rohn famously said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Their habits, their complaints, their expectations, their mindset, and yes, even their income levels are all rubbing off on you, whether you realize it or not. It's happening through osmosis. If you're trying to level up, but your party is full of players who do nothing but complain about the game, make poor choices with their resources, and have incredibly low standards for their own performance, they will drag you down to their level. It's an invisible gravitational force that constantly holds you back, making every step forward feel 10 times harder than it needs to be. You're trying to climb a mountain, and they have ropes tied around your ankles, pulling you back down into the valley of mediocrity every time you make progress. And
This isn't just about peer pressure, it's about the normalization of low standards.
the tension here is obvious and painful. These people are often our friends. They might even be our family. The very idea of changing this dynamic feels like a betrayal. It feels selfish and cold. You feel guilty just thinking about it, worried they will think you're too good for them now. But Rohn's approach here isn't about being a bad person. It's about being a smart player who understands the environment of the game. He offers 3 specific ways to handle this, which he called the principle of association. The good news is, you don't always have to cut people out completely. The first option is to dilute the association. This is for people who aren't necessarily toxic, but their influence is limiting or negative. You don't cut them off, you just consciously reduce the time you spend with them. A 3-hour complaint session that you call a hangout becomes a focused 30-minute coffee. A long weekend trip gets replaced with a single phone call. The goal is to minimize your exposure to their negative mindsets and draining energy, which frees up more of your time and emotional bandwidth for your own goals. This isn't about ghosting them, it's about managing your most precious resources. Your second choice is to set a new associations. This is the proactive part of the strategy. You must actively seek out people who are already playing the game at a higher level than you are. Find a mentor who has achieved what you want to achieve. Intentionally join a club, a mastermind, or a professional group where the standard of conversation and the level of ambition are significantly higher than what you're used to. You need to put yourself in rooms where you are the least successful person. By surrounding yourself with individuals who embody the habits and qualities you want to cultivate, you get pulled up by their momentum. Their success and work ethic start to feel normal, raising your own internal standards without you even trying. The third and hardest option is to disassociate. This is the last resort reserved for truly toxic influences. These are the people who don't just have a negative mindset, they actively sabotage you. They mock your goals, question your efforts, and try to tempt you back into old destructive habits. They are the crabs in the bucket who will pull you back down the moment you start to climb out. With these people, a clean break may be the only way to protect your journey. While it's incredibly difficult, removing these anchors is sometimes the only way to allow your ship to finally sail. The reason most people stay stuck in a frustrating cycle for years is because their environment demands it. By consciously curating your inner circle, you create an environment where growth isn't just possible, it's the expected default. You are pulled toward success instead of having to fight for every inch of it alone. You need to be around people who make you feel like you need to step up your game, not people who make you feel comfortable with your current level character. Their success becomes your new normal. So you have your goals, your skills are leveling up, you're mastering your time and your money, and you've got your allies sorted. What's the point of it all? What's the actual end game? So you've done it. You followed the roadmap, you leveled up your skills, your income is starting to grow, and you're finally in control. Is that it? Did you beat the game? This is actually the final boss fight, and it's where many seemingly successful people lose. They win the game of money, but completely lose at the game of life. They build a massive bank account, but end up miserable, disconnected, and hollowed out because they forgot the entire point of playing in the first place. They chased the gold so hard, they forgot to enjoy the world they were building. This final strategy from Rohn is about avoiding that trap. It's about learning the art of living well. This isn't about just having more. It's about becoming more and, crucially, experiencing more. This is the difference between being rich and living a rich life. He argued that a rich life isn't about choosing between being grateful for what you have and desiring something better. That's a false choice. Instead, it's a dynamic blend of both. You learn to genuinely enjoy and appreciate your current circumstances, your small apartment, your current income, your relationships, while simultaneously maintaining a healthy, disciplined desire for what you're building toward. One without the other leads to problems. Gratitude without desire leads to stagnation, where you stop growing. Desire without gratitude leads to constant dissatisfaction, where nothing is ever good enough. You need both to be fulfilled. It's about balance. This means actively enjoying the journey, not just waiting for the destination. It's about creating moments of joy and connection now. True happiness actually grows in the soil of giving, learning, and experiencing. It's not something you buy at the end of the road. And this isn't a passive state you just arrive at one day. The art of living well is an active art. It's something you practice. It's found in loving what you do, and just as importantly, who you're doing it with. It means paying real attention to your loved ones and friends, nurturing the connections with people who will support you long term, not just the casual acquaintances. It's about cultivating a spirit of generosity, finding small things every day that make you feel richer and better about your life. This could be as simple as sending flowers to someone you care about, taking an hour to listen to music that moves you, or just expressing your gratitude for something small. These acts shift your focus from mere accumulation to a more profound sense of well-being. It turns living from a grind into an art form. But all of these 7 strategies, from setting goals to mastering your money to curating your circle, are completely worthless without the final piece of the formula. The ultimate key is action. As Rohn himself said, fate without action serves no useful purpose. You can have the best map in the world, the most detailed game plan, and a perfectly designed character sheet, but until you actually press start and begin moving, it's all just theory. It's potential energy that is never converted into kinetic results. Consistent action is what transforms all these ideas from just wishful thinking into your tangible reality. It is the one thing that separates the dreamer from the doer. The goal here isn't just to have a fat bank account. The real goal is to design a life so well, to become a person so capable and disciplined that wealth and happiness become the natural, inevitable byproducts of who you are and what you do. This whole journey has been about building a life, not just building a career. It's about crafting a life of purpose, constant growth, and meaningful contribution. And it all starts with the very first step, with the first small, almost insignificant discipline that you choose to take today. The secret to wealth and happiness isn't some hidden tactic. The entire game is completely internal. Your outer world is just a reflection of the character you've built. Stop chasing more and start becoming more. As Jim Rohn said, to have more than you've got, become more than you are. The path forward isn't about finding a magic bullet, it's about making a choice. Pick one of these 7 strategies, just one, and implement one small, repeatable discipline today. That's how you begin. If you learn something new, subscribe. Let me know which strategy you're starting with first.